we were talking about the apostolate, Father had made me the vice president of the apostolate back in 2007, and we're going through all kinds of different things. We're changing, we're moving to different locations. We went from South Dakota to Minnesota, and then to another location in Minnesota, so it was getting very stressful for Father, especially with the bone cancer and all that. So he had me handle a lot of the different emails and calls to get that done, and to look to the future to move the apostolate here. Well, Father realized that he was getting older, of course, and with the bone cancer that he had to make a decision. So when he made this decision, it was not a question or answer type decision. We went up to his office in his house, and Father, he comes up to you, and he does things dramatically sometimes, and we had a lot of these little dramatic incidents. Well, anyway, he comes up to me, grabs me with his two hands, and says, "John, I want you to be the president of the Fatima Family Apostolate. I trust you. You have all the tools here to evangelize, to help save souls, and to spread the message of Fatima." And I said, "Okay." So Father really he didn't say, "Do you want to be the president?" or he just said, "You are going to be the president." And so I took that as the Blessed Mother was calling me to do that too, because Father said, "I've been praying for 15 years to find somebody to take over the apostolate." And he said, "I feel strongly that you're the one that's called to do this." Well, he was talking to my father-in-law one day, and he was telling my father-in-law, he said, "Well, I've been praying for 15 years, and I believe that John, the Blessed Mother, is calling John to be the president of the Fatima Family Apostolate." And my father-in-law said, "Well, I hope you don't pray for anything for me, because your prayers don't sound like they're too strong." Once I became the president, we built the building here, the headquarters here in Hansville, Alabama, and we did that, and Father came, we blessed the building. We had a pretty big turnout for that, and I had to give up and give a speech, like I'm doing now, I'm talking. But at this time, I had zero experience and nervous again, and going through all these emotions. And you see like 6 or 7 priests out there, the president of EWTN, all these people were here. I'm like a nervous wreck, And Father said, "Oh, don't worry about it. But you know what? You need to keep doing this, because you're going to have to do this more and more as you continue on." I said, "Yeah, Father, I understand." Well, once we got the apostolate going, we started doing Fatima processions on October 13th and May 13th to have Our Lady in procession and do the Fatima Ave like they do in Portugal. So we started doing that on a yearly basis. And the first time I did it, I got up there and was giving some talks and telling about the apostle a little bit. And Father came back home, and we had some priests over. Well, Father had me upstairs, and we were talking. He said, "John, you need to talk clearer. You mumble too much. You need to work on your speech. He says, "I'm telling you this because I love you. That's why I'm telling you, because I love you. And you're gonna get better, but you got to keep working on it." So he was always correcting me, but I took it as positive criticism. It wasn't. Father never did anything towards me personally as a negative, to criticize me negatively. He always wanted to see me do better, and that's what I loved about him. And then he always supported me when I had issues that I was going through personally. I would go to him. He was the one that I would go to. Like when we did build this building, I was going through a lot. We just had a baby that was born that had to go to the NICU, which is like going to the ICU for an elderly person, but it's for babies, and was in the hospital for about 12 days because of lung development. And we were building this building, and I had that going on, and all the other emotions with your wife and your children and all that to deal with. I had rental property and a construction company, so I was getting overwhelmed. My anxiety was overtaking me, and I didn't know if I could handle it anymore, doing everything that I was doing. And I went to Father and I said, "Father, I'm having this anxiety." He said, "All you have to do is say short prayers throughout the day. Whenever you feel that coming on, just say short prayers throughout the day. Stay focused." He said, one that's very good is just say, Jesus, I trust in you. Whenever you have a problem, say, Jesus, I trust in you. He said, just say Jesus, and it'll help. But just say, Jesus, I trust in you. And that went a long way. It really helped me get through some very difficult times. And so Father was always there for me in that respect. I always told him I was his physical advisor and he was my spiritual advisor, because he'd call me up at 9 o'clock and say, my TV remote ain't working. I need to get Fox News on. And so I'd try to talk him through it. He said, I think I made it worse. So I'd have to go there the next day and fix his TV remote. You know, things like that. I moved him 3 times when he was here in Alabama. He moved 3 times. So I would load up his stuff and move it, set up all his computers, and then I started helping him. You know, when I started getting really interested in the apostolate, I'd ask him every day, how's the apostolate doing? I think that's when he really realized that I was interested in, you know, doing something with the apostolate or being a part of it. I know we were driving with, we're going to the post office with Father Fox and Francis. And Francis his name's Irving Huell. Father wrote a book about him. He was the one who had the stigmata on both sides of his hands, and he would suffer the passion on Friday nights. And we were sitting in the car, Father's in the post office, and Francis turned to me and said, I heard that you'll be taking over Father's magazine and his apostolate. And this is kind of threw me off guard. I'm like, whoa, what? He's been talking to you about this? He said, no. I was like, okay. And so we just dropped it at that. And then I asked Father later on, he said, we never discussed anything about that. And this man, he had received, Jesus had come and appeared to him with thorns on his head and blood, real bloody, and told him to touch my people. Very humble man, a grandfather, a father, an average guy with a stigmata. His bishop even approved him. And Father, we got the book here at the Fatima Family Apostolate, and they could order it online. It's just a beautiful book, a great story.